Hello everyone, in today's episode of the 1 Year Life Challenge, we're going to talk about the need to conform and why it's such a big part of our life. Hello everyone, conformists. We're all conforming. We're constantly sacrificing our personal liberties and what we want to be in life in order to fit in with the crowd. Don't believe me? Well, we're going to go through it today and talk about how to acknowledge it and how to move past it. So as always, I'm going to begin with a quote on the subject, and that quote is, "Whenever you find yourself on the side of the majority, it's time to pause and reflect." Mark Twain. I really believe that that is such an incredible insight. The majority of people, when they take up a idea or a task, are generally manipulated. Like there's entire PR agencies that work for governments to manipulate public opinion. But everything, like the Buddha said, is through direct experience, direct insight. You must know yourself. But so often we give our opinions, we give our ideas over to the mass media and we listen for them what to say. In my country, Australia has certain points of views on things and the Australian public is supposed to accept it. We're in the Iraq war now, so you're supposed to accept it. And I think to myself, well, maybe Mark Twain had something there. Maybe the majority of people moving somewhere is a sign there's a problem. This is something that, really has been a personal story of mine because I don't think I've conformed. Obviously as a teenager you conform, and even when you're not conforming, you want to be an emo or a rapper or whatever, you're conforming to that non-conformist attitude. And it was really, it's really exhausting to think about how to act rather than just acting. And I started thinking to myself before I started this video series, conformity is everywhere, but what has it brought us? And now, it's crazy. We're conforming to being obese, having diabetes, we have the highest addiction rate in human history, and we have the highest suicide rate in human history. These are the things we're conforming to. We're actively conforming to a society that kills us. And if it doesn't kill us through suicide or addiction, it kills us slowly through diabetes and obesity. So understanding that progress is not linear is really important. I think as a society we think, the new thing coming in is going to be better. We had this sus for a long time. And most of our most genuine insights into humanity came 2,500 years ago through the Greek Golden Age, whether we're talking about Plato, Socrates, Aristotle, or the Eastern Golden Age, which include Confucius and the Buddha and Lao Tzu. These dudes had it, and afterwards we really, as the capitalist system came in with the need to create consumers, not spiritual thinkers, not beautiful humans, but simply consumers, we had to eliminate a lot of that information and knowledge, and that's why this video series exists. So let's talk about how this works so you can understand it when it unfolds. As humans, we have the basic urge to mimic. And you notice that you go to a dance floor and someone's doing a certain dance and then other people are doing that dance, and before you know it, everyone's doing like the Teen Wolf dance, not the you know what, I'm going to go somewhere and do the Teen Wolf dance, but you see that all the time, the urge to mimic, and it's inbred into us. We like things that are like us, and we like to match and mirror our environment. That's why it's so important to be around good people. Your life is in direct proportion to the quality of the people you spend it with, and you need to know that you do have an urge to mimic, and you just need to ask yourself, who am I around and what am I mimicking, and is it good for me? Number two, we get information from others. We're consistently asking the opinions of others, and unfortunately putting them over the top of ours. As much as someone will love you, they aren't going to put you first. When they give you their opinion, unless they're a very enlightened person, they're giving you their opinion through the prism of what serves them. Even when they tell you they're not, they can't help it because they're going through their belief systems and saying, this is what you should do. What they're really saying is, this is what you should do. Quite often when people go, this is what you should do, they're pointing one finger at you and three of them are pointing back at them. The third, needing to fit in. So fitting in was incredibly important as our tribal structure built. So our tribal structures are beautiful. They say it takes a village to raise a child. Well, that was definitely the way it was. We all depended on each other so much in tribes. You'd have the leader, you'd have the tribal elders, you'd have the matriarchs, the women who understood how to give birth and would explain how to give birth to the younger women. You have the men who would show the men to hunt, and you have all these beautiful roles. You have the person who's really good at stitching, you'd have the person who's really good at doing the axe heads. And that's the only way we could survive. And we beat out all the other hominid species. All the other human species went extinct. Humans, sometimes people freak out and say there were other humans on this planet only 75,000 years ago, and they were just like us, and their brains were just as big as us, and they were, in some cases, stronger and fitter than us. But we beat them because we used differentiation. We had skills that we brought to the party, and understanding that fitting in means bringing those skills, but being ostracized meant death. So an example would be if you'd done something in the tribe, you'd act like an absolute idiot, and they said, right, tribal council, chicks and men, let's get together and talk about this. They're out. That was a death sentence, because you couldn't survive in a hostile, frosty environment like, for example, the Neo Ice Age that we had about 50,000 years ago. You couldn't survive. You weren't knitting, your own vest. You couldn't keep cool because you were the hunter. So we are so desperately want to fit in that it's actually in our DNA that we're so scared to get ostracized. We don't need to worry anymore. We can live by ourselves. We can do these things now. We don't need to conform and ruin our life in the fear that we'll lose our life. Second to last, understand that you absorb opinions. It's nice to say, oh, that's ducks are for water, water for ducks back, or I'm not listening to that person. You do absorb things. Your unconscious mind is taking note of trillions of things per second. Your conscious mind is noticing 5 to 7. Now, it's important to get out. For me, just no TV, no media, no radio, no one telling me about these bombs or these blasts or trying to put a slant or trying to sell me sofas. That's all out, because I don't care how smart you think you are, those messages are absorbed. And finally, know that it's natural to align your perceptions with others. The way you see the world, and we talk about this, the way you see the world is normally the way you see yourself. And what happens is, as you start to see the world as others, you become those people. Never give your power away. Your unique, special journey was designed to create this universe in the way it is. The path that you'll carve through the universe is necessary and needed. It needs to be your path. Let's stop conforming. Let's start being ourselves. Let's come with kindness, grace, and compassion to others and show them how they can live a great life. And I can tell you what, I think we'll get along a lot better. That's something to think about. I can't wait to see you till tomorrow. Until then, goodbye.